search for anything random and interesting at all. Basically all this NE crap. Least favorite things is that I never seem to learn from mistakes. Like, I just repeat the same mistakes over and over a lot. Until I finally do them enough times that it hurts enough that SI remembers to tell me not to do them again. But it's rather frustrating. Movies, TV shows, music of choice, interests in general. I think I already went over my main interests earlier. Movies, I guess, my favorite movie is probably like American Beauty or something like that. Monty Python and the Holy Grail is up there. Life of Brian. I have a soft spot for British comedy. Movies, I don't watch that many movies. I mean, I can't really talk that intelligently about them. TV shows, I enjoy like most of the stuff on Adult Swim. My favorite show ever is this old MTV show called Clone High, about clones of famous historical figures going to high school together, and it was hysterical, but it got canceled because MTV's audience didn't really get it. Music of choice, I listen to a lot of like, these days I'm listening to more jazz and like progressive stuff, but I also listen to a lot of pop rock, because one of my projects is working on intentionally writing like marketable poppy rock songs, and we've been doing this for a couple of years, trying to get something really good down before we really do much with it. But so I really like, I listen to some older like rock as well, a lot of 90s alternative. So, stuff from like Beatles and Pink Floyd up on through like the 90s with, I like Radiohead a lot, the Smashing Pumpkins, a lot of other stuff, but I won't get too much into that. If anybody cares, you can ask me. Thoughts on people in general? I think people in general are too stuck in their own like mindsets and refuse to allow value in conflicting mindsets and realize that that other people's mindsets may not conflict with theirs as much as they think they do. And I don't know, people, I think in general, most people are fundamentally good-natured, and if you can figure out what motivation is leading them to do something that doesn't agree with you, then, at the end of the day, I don't know, it seems like you can figure out most of what drives most people. I think if you can fundamentally, most people, if you can find a way to identify with them, will just be much more receptive to you in general. I don't know. If you don't know one thing about me, what should it be? That I will try anything and everything, just in case something interesting happens, even if I have no reason to think that it will. Go through your background, important parts, anything happened that affected you, family life, misfortune. My family life and all that, my health has always been really good. Luckily, I've never actually even broken a bone. I was born into an upper middle class family, and I've always been nicely supported by them, and that's really lucky. I have a really good relationship with my parents now, although I didn't always. My dad is INTJ and my mom is ESFJ, and part of growing up for me, I think, was growing into FE and recognizing some value in that. And when that happened, I feel like I just almost instantly got along like 20 million times better with my mom. And now we have a really good, open relationship, and they're really cool. School life. I dropped out of Georgia State after like 3 years. Serious misfortune? Not really. I have ADHD, and I think it's sort of resulted in like comorbid depression, a good bit, and I've seen counselors and stuff for that over the years, but nothing really seriously terrible has happened to me like ever. So I'm thankful for that. I guess that's really lucky. Personal philosophy, beliefs, etc. I guess just try to be open to different ideas and approaches to things, and like try to look for the possible good in things. That, just sort of fundamentally try to be optimistic, even though I'm often like a cynical pessimist when I'm in a bad mood. Try to be optimistic about the possibilities and things, and I don't know, just try to learn everything you can from other people, even if you know someone is dumber than you. There's probably still a lot you can learn from almost anyone. So I guess just that's about all really, and then do whatever seems exciting and fulfilling to you, and find a way to make that work. I guess that's the way to happiness, I suppose. What do I think I am? And on the last question, I guess nobody asked about religion or whatever, but no, I'm not very religious, but I have a lot more respect for religion than I used to. I used to be a typical NTP girl. Oh, whoops. Kick the camera stand there. Typical NTP kicking the camera stand. Anyway, I used to be a typical NTP girl, religion is terrible, everyone who's religious is retarded, and then I kind of as I learned about function attitudes and the different priorities that other people have in life, it started to all kind of fall into place. And I think a lot of religious people are much smarter than many NTPs give them credit for, because I think that they probably know on some level that their religion is not factually true, but they don't really care because they're not looking for logical, factual truth as the main focus of their lives. So once I realized that, I kind of recognized that a lot of religious people were a lot smarter than I thought they were, and had a lot more to offer. And what type do I think I am, and why? I think I'm ENTP for pretty obvious reasons. If anybody has an issue with that, you know, feel free to bring it up. It's been done before. Like, this chick on Typology Central was convinced I was ESFP. I've been called at least 9 or 10 of the 16 types at some point by somebody pissed at me for something. But no, I'm pretty certain at this point that I'm ENTP, and sorry. Anyway, do others agree with my typing? Usually, yeah. I've had people call me ENFP. I've had people call me ENTJ for some strange reason that I don't understand. I've had one person call me ENFJ, but I think he was trolling. I've been called ESFP and ESTP both. I've been called INTP and ISTP. I think people tend to try to question my type just to get back at me for questioning a lot of other people's types and trying to throw me off the way that I throw other people off sometimes. I think sometimes I can come off as, I think I emphasize FE more than a lot of ENTPs, actually, at least now. And so I think sometimes I can come off as sort of, I don't know, almost, like too emotionally attached to how I think and feel about things. I think is a weakness of mine. So coming off that way can happen sometimes, and people will think I'm ENFP or something, but I don't realize it's any FE. It's not FI. It's mostly most type reading errors are just that, just people not really understanding different function attitudes and what constitutes FE versus FI. Like, there's this huge misconception going around right now that if you take your internal ethical ideal and apply it to something in the external world, that turns FI into FE because you're applying it externally, blah, 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 which is, in my opinion, just total garbage. But, I mean, it's just people not knowing what they're doing and reading type poorly, reading into things that don't make sense. Incompetence, basically. What types do I get along with best? Mostly other NPs. A good number of SPs. Some NJs and a few SJs. I usually have a much better time with FJs and TPs in general than TJs and FPs, for obvious reasons. And on a side note to that one guy that I just posted public service announcement shit to in this thread, sorry, I didn't realize you were new. I just, I suggest that you read the stickies. I didn't mean to come off as such an asshole. It's just like, it's surprising to me to read, you know, oh, he's focusing on details, he must be a censor, because that's so off. You know, that's really about it. What types do I get along with best and worst? I gotta go shortly, so I'm gonna try to wrap this up. Like I said, usually other NPs. I usually get along worse with ETJs. TE DOMs really have an issue with, and sometimes FI DOMs, but more INFPs than ISFPs. So probably ETJs and INFP are the types that I have the hardest time with in general. ISTJs also I have some trouble with a good bit. I just have difficulty understanding them most of the time. Sometimes with INTJs, but not too often. They usually just leave me alone and vice versa. Let's see, how am I in terms of self-esteem? Pretty good, getting a lot better. Wasn't always good. Hey, what's up, dude? Are we ready? Yeah. Okay, cool. Alright, I'm almost done. Sorry, I have a band practice to go to. I'll be right there in 2 seconds. Sorry. Anyway, that was my roommate, my INFP roommate. Cool guy. There's one INFP I get along really well with, so. Anyway, how am I in terms of self-esteem? I feel like I have pretty good self-esteem for the most part now. Like I said, a lot better than it has been, with the help of some like counseling and, you know, taking antidepressants and Adderall and whatnot. I have very bad ADHD, as you've probably determined by now. But doing a lot better, and feeling confident and pretty good about things in general right now, so that's cool. Something random, important, or whatever. Don't 3-bet wide against people that will not call with a wide range, because you just fold out everything you beat. It's good advice. Anyway, this is Simulated World, signing off. I gotta go. Talk to y'all later.